Knock, knock.
No way, we had to go the other way. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
ScreenVomit.
Green vomit who?
ScreenVomit from Chips. Does that work?
No, but I like it.
Welcome to ScreenVomit, friends. The only movie podcast for weird-ass freaks like us, and by that we mean normal people.
Hey, get me... Yeah, thank you. Whew. I was thinking, if this podcast for freaks, get me off this freaky coaster.
Freaks are the new normal, baby. Get with it. And I'm the number one freak / normal, Kayla, and here with me, dare I say, my best pal, Collie J.
Hello.
Aw, cute. We're having a cute intro today. What's up?
What up?
Cool. I popped off at the beginning, and that was all my brain had to give today. Boom, power down. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to zazz myself up with that's why I used the accent earlier. I thought if I tried an accent, I'd get happier, but it didn't work.
And folks, these are the methods we're resorting to these days to get 1 ounce of serotonin in the brain.
Hey, you know what actually gave me some serotonin today?
What?
Was watching this episode's movie.
Woo! And we did pick such a movie, and by we I mean me. I suggested this movie.
Yeah, you did.
We picked the 2014 movie Maps to the Stars, which I think I just found absolutely randomly through like a movie group I'm in. I had never heard of this before. Like when it came out, I don't have any memory of this like existing before randomly finding it in this movie group, which seems crazy to me.
Yeah, I have had zero. My only knowledge maybe of it was like pretty much every time I watched The Fly, which is like every other year, I will just be like, oh yeah, Cronenberg, like what's he up to lately? And I'm sure I've scanned his filmography and seen this title.
You've what?
Scanner? Did he direct Scanners?
Yeah.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Have you seen Scanners?
No, and
it's not good.
Actually, what will unfortunately come out here in a minute is I don't think I've seen any Cronenberg film.
Yo, not even The Fly with Goldblum?
No, which is nuts, right? Like, I mean,
That's nuts.
I know that of these movies. I've like heard of them. I know
sure.
certain things about each. Like, obviously, I know the head explode guy from Scanners, but like, I don't think I've ever seen a film of his. So sorry.
That's crazy.
I have no, unfortunately, no expertise to like pull from for, you know, relating this movie to his other movies for this ep. And that's why we're normal. We're not geniuses, right?
No.
What do you have a fave Cronenberg? Have you seen like many of his movies or?
I've seen so The Fly is my favorite, just hands down. It holds up so well. It's stunning. It's gross. It's fucking wild and nasty, but like totally fun. Scanners I didn't like.
I heard it was bad.
It's just like the head explosion is very fucking cool, but the rest of it is just kind of like this swing and a miss sci-fi mutant race kind of thing.
Okay.
And then Videodrome is actually pretty fun. Videodrome's real weird, almost kind of Lynchian. It doesn't make a ton of sense, and it melds in between realities. But it's very fun, and the body horror in that, of which Cronenberg is often like lauded for in his early work, especially.
Yeah.
The body horror in Videodrome is great. Videodrome is definitely worth watching. Scanners is not, and that's all I've seen of Cronenberg, I believe.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, because I know those like 3 movies from his early filmography are like considered to be pretty iconic, but that's like, what is that, like 40 years ago now? Like, I'm wondering like how his newer stuff, I mean, we obviously just watched this movie, but like, you know, what's his newer stuff like? Like, do people like that too? I don't know.
I don't know.
His son's directing now too, so maybe we'll do one of his son's movies in the future.
Oh yeah. He put out A History of Violence in 2005, and that was, like, pretty well lauded. I think maybe an Academy Award nomination, even. But I never saw it.
I do want to say, before we get too far into this discussion, I want a trigger warning for incest theme in this movie. So, there's your warning up top. Incest themes.
I would say skip the episode, because incest themes are... the movie is incest themes.
Yeah. That was surprising to me. We'll get to it. All right. Do you want to read the cast list for this one?
Yes. So the cast list is wild and it rocks.
Yes.
Julianne Moore from Gloria Bell, our
TBT.
First episode.
Yes, very first.
Children of Men, which is fucking rocks.
Yes.
The Hours, which I've never seen.
One of her most iconic roles, I think. Like, as far as what people know her from, I think The Hours is pretty up there, yeah.
John Cusack from High Fidelity, Love and Mercy, one of my favorite movies. John Cusack rocks. I love John Cusack.
Sure, yeah. John and Joan.
They're both rocking. We got Carrie Fisher from Star Wars and Star Wars and
R.I.P.
the Blues Brothers. Yes, R.I.P. of course, Carrie Fisher.
R.I.P. to the king.
Little cameo in this, and she kills it. Probably the reason we watch this movie. Robert Pattinson from...
One of the reasons.
From, I don't know, Good Time, High Life, The Devil All the Time, The Lighthouse, this podcast.
5th movie that we've done for Robert Pattinson. The Pattinstans are back, baby.
We got Olivia Williams. She plays the kid's mom, and she is from, of course, the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, baby.
What are we looking at cricket score-wise?
Okay, critic scores, I'll tell you, not looking great. We have Rotten Tomatoes coming in with a hot 61. Okay, I would say maybe a mild 61.
Yeah.
Metacritic, 67. And Google users, 65.
A good general consensus for
no
Maps
wild
to
cards
Stars.
here. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, we're not used to this. We got no jokes now. Kind of screwed us over.
Our comedy careers are over, unfortunately, due to this movie. And that being
Without
said,
a doubt.
Let's watch the trailer.
Okay.
I thought that it was a meet. I didn't know that I was going to have to read. And then the casting director, who I know doesn't even acknowledge me, she just walks right by without saying a word. And then she says they want to put me on tape. And I'm like, excuse me, but you need special makeup for that, or you look green. And she says, well, you can either tape or not. Like it's all some pointless exercise. And I just can't take it anymore, Jacob. I'm so tired and it's so pathetic.
Your mother, of course, was Clarice Taggart, the wonderful actress who died tragically in a fire. What is it like starring in a remake of a movie and essentially playing your mother?
Scary.
Where'd you come in from?
Jupiter.
Now you hit Tinseltown, what are you gonna do?
This isn't a very glamorous job. I would be the most loyal, most competent, most grateful personal assistant you've ever had.
I hired a girl. It's amazing.
Why is it amazing?
She was burned in a fire.
You gonna hurt me, Agatha?
I think she may be back. I don't know if she's dangerous.
It's reimagining. It's a second chance.
I told you to stay away from us.
I was afraid because of what you did.
You blame yourself for the night I burned, don't you?
Hope you don't mind that I requested you.
I think you're a little crazy.
Go back to Kansas, Dorothy.
Secrets kill.
Wow, the trailer was so intense.
Yeah. If you are looking for a movie, folks, that has, I'm talking child-on-child violence, I'm talking a depressing sex scene, and one of the funniest grocery orders I've ever heard, this is the movie for you.
This movie was so surprising to me. Well, first of all, I really didn't know what to expect.
I've
never seen a Cronenberg, and we've said it on the pod before that we try and go in as blind as possible. So I'd never seen a trailer. I'd never all I had was like a short synopsis from Letterboxd, which barely says anything. So really didn't know what to expect and was surprised in so many ways by this movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it's all positive, but yeah.
I also found myself comparing it to a lot of movies we'd done before on the pod.
Same. Yeah.
Because it has some characteristics that I'd say are relatively unique to some films that we've done on the pod before are evident in this movie as well, which was surprising to me. And also, what timing, because we just did The Devil All the Time, and the like kind of timeline and character intertwining from this movie was pretty reminiscent of that.
Yeah,
I think
very similar.
I think it's done a little better in this movie, but yeah, it's similar where like people are individuals and they weave in and out of each other's stories and each other's lives. And
yeah, it's intertwining vignettes almost.
Yeah. And I felt like that was like, I mean, it's obviously not novel, but like pretty unique thing about Devil All the Time, the way they did that.
Yeah, totally.
And so to see that, we just did that movie.
Yeah.
And to see like that same mechanism being used in this movie was like, you know, what a coincidence.
Yeah, I saw myself likening it in tone sometimes to Gone Girl.
Oh, really? I didn't get that one. I have 4 movies I pulled out that I really thought reminded me of this one.
Okay, what are your 4?
Okay, so I already said Devil All the Time. Secondly, Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Okay.
Just like how it kind of starts out sort of normal and then builds to like absolute insanity and like violence that you never saw coming.
Yes. Yeah.
I felt that from Killing of a Sacred Deer into this movie. Obviously, cinematography, not even close. But
yeah, totally.
But as far as like just that kind of the build to the climax and the climax being so absurd and insane. And then Honey Boy, which is like the crazy child actor kind of thing going on. And then lastly, and this one really surprised me, Death of Dick Long.
Same.
Just like the over-exaggerated like absurdity and like depravity of these characters and kind of tackling that really taboo topic of incest. And in Death of Dick Long, it's bestiality. Using that really taboo topic and, you know, approaching it also with comedy and horror at the same time.
Very tonally mixed.
Yeah.
1 second, you're not sure if you're supposed to be laughing at their foibles or if it's this, like, horrific tragedy that's happening.
Yeah. And also just like, and we've said this in that episode as well, Death of Dick Long, just like how the things that are happening sometimes are so over the top that like you can separate yourself from the reality of it, but also you still feel for the characters. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't get too crazy about like the fucked up stuff that's happening. Like it doesn't seem as fucked up just because everything else is so over the top and like wild.
No, without a doubt.
I was hoping that made sense coming out. It's hard to really put into words.
It really is. But like the way I look at it is incest is a theme throughout the movie. And it starts out fairly muted, but it becomes very apparent and in your face. And with that, a 13-year-old doing drugs and partying with like older kids, it didn't feel that bad. It wasn't that shocking to see a 13-year-old. That's a child. That's not even a teenager.
Right.
Like, that's a baby.
Because each of the characters in this movie like have such exaggerated stories and like such, you know, dramatic things happening to them that it's like, sure, there's like a token of reality to all these things, and I guess it's not to say that 13-year-olds don't do drugs or can't, have those issues, but like the amount of things each character has going on with them, it's like so over the top that it brings in like a surrealism to it.
Yeah,
which is fun.
Death of Dick Long did have like the amount of genre bouncing it went through and like story changes. It did feel like a fantasy almost. And I feel the same way about this one. This felt like this fantasy movie. It's not our reality, but it's pretty damn close. Let's just get into it. Let's start from the top.
Okay. Yeah, we already kind of mentioned that we kind of jump around from different people's stories. So there are a few different characters in here, and it's not really revealed to us how they're connected until later on in the movie, but they are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on that, I just think the screenplay of this is kind of genius. There's stuff revealed at the beginning before you know how it connects to the story, too. So, like, if you go back once you know, you just find more and more. And I think that's just, it's so cool in this movie.
Yeah.
They did such a good job with it. They did way better than Devil All the Time.
Yeah, it's this really, it's not as slow. I think that's really what it is.
No.
It's just, literally, it's an hour difference between movies. But it still feels, it doesn't feel rushed. Like, it doesn't feel like they're revealing too much all at once.
No, just enough.
Just enough. Every scene, something relevant to the plot happens.
It's very cut tight.
Yeah.
You know, every scene, there's jokes, there's Easter eggs, there's hints for what's to come, like foreshadowing stuff, there's character development in every slice. Nothing is wasted.
It is a very, like, precise movie in that way.
And that's so cool.
It is.
They did such a good job with the screenplay on this one.
Totally.
And then obviously with the all-star fucking cast of this movie, just totally brought it to life.
Yeah.
Kicked ass.
Yeah. This is the perfect use of this cast. You can rely upon these people to carry, one of these actors can carry a movie, and oftentimes is forced to, but like all of these people together, it's a bop. It moves.
It's a bop.
Certified bop.
By us.
Yeah.
Not by anyone else, apparently.
I love hearing all of these actors talk. It was great.
Yeah. And half of them are English. Everybody has an American accent, though, in this movie. So, also, not even talking. Boy, just standing there. Hello.
Ooh, this is...
Smoking hot cast.
Yes. Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore's character.
An ultimate babe.
Yes.
And she's a number one. Yeah.
And then having this, like... I don't want to be too crass on this podcast, but having kind of like this fading fame, kind of like sad sluttiness? I don't know how else to say it. It was hot.
It was hot. Oh, we'll save that.
Yeah.
Put that in a Ziploc for later, baby, till we get to it. So let's start going through the actual movie, because we're just going to spill all the tea at top.
Yeah.
All right, so we start the movie meeting Agatha, who is Mia Wasikowska's character.
Well pronounced.
I listened to her say her own name earlier.
Okay. I was going to say, you definitely watched it in an interview or something.
And I still don't think I did a great job, because that's the first time I've said it out loud. But, oftentimes when we get people with crazy names, I'll tell you, folks, behind the curtain, I really try to find out how to pronounce these people's names. The problem is, there are not videos of their names being said online. When they're on night shows and stuff, when they put the clips up, those clips are cut. The part where their name is said is cut out.
Oh, they don't say like, so they don't show Colbert going like, and my next guest, Mia Wasikowska.
No, they don't show that part. They cut it out just to the interview.
I know what you mean, like folks, right when they're sitting down.
I try. Yes, I try. I do try. Mia Wasikowska. Okay, that's what I got.
That's great.
Because I watched a video of her actually saying her own name earlier. Okay, anyway, we do try.
Yeah.
So just want you to know. We start with her character, Agatha, who is a burn victim. Mm-hmm. But at the beginning, you don't even really notice that she's a burn victim, I would say. And what's cool about her character is that the more that's revealed about her past and her story to the viewer, the more visible and pronounced her scar tissue becomes.
That rules.
I think that's awesome.
I didn't even notice that. Looking back, it totally happens.
Because at first I thought, am I going crazy? Because I didn't even know she had burns when her character's first introduced.
Yeah.
And then later they talk about her being a burn person. And the more it is, the more you go on through the movie, the more you're like, oh, I guess she does have burns. And then they just seem to grow and grow. And they do.
Yeah. In one of the final scenes, she's wearing a dress. It's the first time you see her back, her bare back.
Arms and her back and
stuff. And
stuff.
it's just like, at that point, you're like, oh my god, of course. And you see the burns everywhere. But yeah, at the beginning...
She wears those long gloves for most of the movie,
and
too.
I noticed, even her haircut is... You can tell that her character got that haircut to hide burns.
Yeah, she has bangs. She has, a bob that kind of covers her face a little bit.
Yeah. Just as a thematic device or a film device, that rocks. That's very simple to do, but so effective.
And just practically, it probably made it easier on like the makeup.
Yeah.
Not having to try and match the scars exactly from the day before shooting too.
Yeah, I guess what we're saying is every movie should do this.
Yeah.
Just shoehorn it in.
RP, our boy, Robert Pattinson, instantly revealed in the movie. I thought they might wait to reveal him.
I know.
Big reveal. But no.
Big phew for me. I was like, all right, we're just setting me up for success here.
Where is he? Okay, here he is. He had an interesting American accent for this movie.
Look.
Our boy is off the rails, and you know what? We gotta stand.
I love it. Lindsay asked me the other day, she's just like, you think he's a good actor? And I was like, he's an incredible actor. He's incredible. He's outstanding. We brought up like The Lighthouse, and I was like, he's incredible in The Lighthouse. And she was like, his accent isn't that good in The Lighthouse. No. And I'm like, yes, it is. It has to be.
No, it's bad.
Our
boy is not an accent pro, and he refuses to actually get training for accents, which we have to stand the commitment.
I love it. Oh my God. So good.
He's iconic.
Incredible.
He's iconic. Doesn't give one care about it.
Nope. And people keep hiring him.
He lets it flow out. And guess what I heard in some interviews was that they had to sign him to get this movie made. They tried to get this movie made, even with Julianne Moore attached and everything. And RP was the token that pushed it over the edge.
Oh my God.
To where they could get funding and get this movie made.
Oh my God.
So I think that is iconic. Have to stand. Love the choices.
It's so. We should do a bonus episode someday just about Robert Pattinson and his importance to, like, his impact on Hollywood. He has changed it.
Sure. I'm also down to do every Pattinson movie in his filmography.
Oh, God.
Eventually. We'll fucking get there, babies. No. The boy is busy.
Anyway.
I just want to know what's going on with him.
Okay. Have you heard about his Batman thing?
Well, what about it?
He will not get strong for the role. He's like not getting in shape.
Iconic.
He just won't get in shape for the role.
I'm sure he didn't go to a dialect coach for that one either. So he's going to sound unhinged.
And I am so excited for it.
I mean, he's not like terribly out of shape. I did see a video of him trying to learn how to tumble, and he could not tumble.
He's lanky and gangly. He's not an action hero.
He's got a little bit of like some arms going on. Like he's not like fat or any like by any means, but he's just not defined like that.
No. He's very lucky.
And we stand him for that, okay? Shush, audience, we stand him for that.
Forever.
Because if you don't know, me and Kali, we have huge biceps.
Incredibly
Triceps,
huge.
We got them all. The muscles, boof, boof, they're booming.
Yeah.
But do we have defined tummies? No.
Not one bit.
And do we care? No,
Not one
because
bit.
we're buff as hell already.
Hell yeah. I just love lifting up metal and rubber all day.
We lift, bro. We lift.
Anyway. Oh, man, we're getting loose.
And
this is great.
We're loose. We're unhinged. Guess what? We're back in comedy.
Hey! All we needed to do was dissect Robert Pattinson a little bit, and it's like, here it is. Here's that gear.
Guess what? Serotonin increasing. Okay, so we have gotten 2 lines into my notes, my 5-page notes. On this
oh, my God.
Okay, so Robert Pattinson is a fake limo driver because his limo is not actually a limo, it's a Lincoln Town car.
Well, they were out of limos that day.
Which I think is pretty funny. I have a life story that's relevant. For my 13th birthday, TBT, I begged my parents, all I want is to ride around in a limo. I don't care where I go. Yeah. I don't care I just want to ride in a limo with my friends. I think that would be so cool. So my parents are notoriously cheap and don't care about me and don't love me because they bought the cheapest limo they could find, which was $90 for 2 hours. And it was like a green station wagon.
Oh. Brutal.
It was a green station wagon that was maybe slightly longer than a normal station wagon. But guess what, baby? I rode around in that bad boy with my 2 besties for 2 hours.
Yeah, give me 2 hours.
And did not know. I was 13. I did not know where to tell the driver to go. So I was just like, downtown. And he's like, okay, we're downtown. Now where? And I was like,
back home.
Downtown again. So we drove around the circle of downtown Indianapolis. Okay. This is a trademarked Indianapolis story. Could not be more Indianapolis than that. So, okay, back to the movie. That's a funny story, though, isn't it? I think it is. Agatha has rented this fake limo. She gives a sort of backstory that she's from Florida, at least. Mm-hmm. She's coming from Florida. And Robert Pattinson calls himself an actor/writer.
Oh, yeah.
And his character is actually based on the writer of the screenplay for this movie, who, when he first moved to LA, was also a chauffeur.
Sure.
RP described his character as the type of guy who would always say he's an actor even if he never acts.
Yep.
It's like a classic LA guy. He's like, my character would never call himself a limo driver, even though that's what he is. He is an actor/writer.
Yeah, it really reminds me of some of the characters on Vanderpump Rules in the early seasons. For my Bravo heads out there, they're just like 23-year-olds in LA, and they're just like, yeah, I'm just bartending until I hit it big in modeling. It's like,
yeah, and he's like, this is like 90% of everyone in LA.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, and Agatha also asks for a map to the stars right up top, so we got the titular line right up top, just like Devil All the Time.
I appreciated it.
So wild that we watch these movies right after each other.
It really is.
But in this movie, having the titular line right up top was not corny.
No.
Can't explain why, but Devil All the Time was corny. This one not corny. So, there's the ruling. Judges have ruled.
Yeah, it's because of the context. In this, I understand it, or understood it to be at least like, oh, here's this young girl who's coming out to LA to see if she can get her shot. And she's getting a limo because she wants to feel luxurious. And I'm just like, okay, like, sure, it makes sense if she's from Florida. But like with her burns, the more that she reveals herself, like the more, the less secure I feel.
I didn't know if I thought that she was coming out to like shoot her shot in Hollywood. I don't really know what I felt, that she was just kind of exploring.
I got that or touristy
the big
vibes.
LA. Yeah, tourist kind of thing for me. So she makes RP drive to a random location right under the Hollywood sign. And we get a little foreshadowing here, which I thought was so cool. And I had like light bulb towards the end of the movie when we find out some more things. Mm-hmm. It's just like an empty plot of land. And she's like, oh, I thought there would be a marker here, whatever. She says an actor's name used to live here and his house burned down. And RP's like, oh, isn't that the star of Bad Babysitter? And she says, oh, yeah, I guess you could say I'm the original Bad Babysitter.
Oh. Damn.
Hoo. And that, I think, was genius level foreshadowing because you don't even pay attention to it.
No.
When it happens.
Everything in this is very disarming. It's very disarming for a while.
Yeah, and I think with stuff like that, because I just happened to remember that line because I was like, at first I was like, is Bad Babysitter a real movie? I don't know, so I looked it up. It's not, by the way.
Could be.
So that's the only reason why I even remembered that happened. So I feel like this is a thing where you could go back and watch this and pick up something new every time, I think.
I think so.
Because I also was just watching clips on YouTube, too, prior to recording, and still was, like, catching things I didn't catch the first time. Like, things are sticking out that didn't stick with me. So, yeah, I think this is a movie that constitutes a rewatch and will be worth it, I think.
Oh, for sure.
So after the Bad Babysitter line, we do shift over to this asshole child star.
Yeah.
And he rocked. I love him.
God damn it, he's so good. He's such a little shit. Just like
he plays his character perfectly. And with the fucking like energy drink thing.
Oh my god.
I was dying.
Yeah. Constantly sucking down an energy drink.
This kid also has not done anything since this movie in 2014, and I wonder what he's up to.
He probably got scarred from having to play such a douchebag.
Maybe so.
I don't know. No, I don't know why, because he was so good in this.
Yeah, he was awesome. So we meet him like roasting his manager and like imagine, because they're like, these people exist like managers of shitty child stars who are like, you're 20 years older than this, 20 plus years older than this kid, and you just have to like take him like fucking railing on you every day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, and he's your boss.
They're visiting a child in a hospital, almost like Make-A-Wish Foundation thing.
He's trying to get some good publicity for some stunts he pulled recently where they don't go into details, but he had some kind of drug incident.
Yeah.
And he's in 12 steps now, which is hilarious because his character is 13. But yeah, so they're trying to get some good publicity to make up for whatever bad stuff that he did. So they go to see this girl in the hospital who has non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah, and he just freaks out because his like manager told him the wrong disease.
Said that she had AIDS.
Yeah. And
AIDS is not funny, but he does do some bits on non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah.
He's like, what's non? Like, it's either Hodgkin's or it's not.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, stand-up comedian gold. He rocks. Then soon after that, we meet his dad, who's John Cusack, who's doing like corny philosophy lines, like strolling through the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he's a classic like celeb therapist, like probably on TV, has written books kind of guy.
He sucks. Like, he's so just like... Cusack does it so well to just be this like...
He's so corny.
Barely gives a shit about the people around them, only to the degree that it affects him. Mm-hmm. And just full of himself, thinks he's spouting out gold, and it's just bullshit.
He's like a classic like self-help guru type guy.
Totally. And it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
And he is treating, in the first scene, he's like working with Julianne Moore. Right?
Mm-hmm. And they're doing like regressive bondage therapy.
It's weird. I was like...
It's like super LA bullshit. You know they're doing all kinds of crazy ass therapies out there.
Yeah, everyone in Vanderpump Rules does Reiki.
Okay, yeah. I have like 3 friends here in Chicago that are Reiki practitioners. Yeah, it's just woo-woo stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, to be clear, me and Colin are both in actual real therapy, so...
Yeah. We're not...
It's not that we don't believe in therapy, but...
What I firmly don't believe in is I do not want my therapist to touch my butt. Ever. Love you, Nancy, but no.
Yeah, don't touch our butts. Yeah, bottom line.
And that's the bottom line.
Hey. So this is our introduction to Julianne Moore's character as well. Mm-hmm. She seems like a hot mess.
Emphasis on
her
the hot.
Her character, oh yeah, baby, stole the fucking show for this movie.
Really
With
did.
all these incredible actors, Julianne Moore stands out because she gets some of the coolest stuff that happens in this movie. The way she plays this, she's iconic. Just in general, she's iconic.
Totally.
In this movie, she's iconic. We love her so much. So she's like a struggling actor and also a drug addict. She seems to be popping many pills, including painkillers and mood-altering pills, all kinds of stuff.
All mixing that with booze.
Yeah.
It rocks.
And she is suffering from some PTSD from her dead actress mom, who died in a fire in 1976 and allegedly physically and sexually abused her.
Yeah.
Another tie to Devil All the Time, which also dealt with PTSD due to your parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Soon after we meet her character, we do see her have the threesome.
Oh, thank God for this scene.
As we all know, this movie plays on Hollywood stereotypes, and Hollywood people are sexual deviants.
Yes.
The only types of people who would participate in a threesome.
Yeah. TBH, Lindsay is watching the, new L Word.
I thought you were going to say Lindsay asked you to do a threesome.
No. We did just talk about a threesome, though, because she's watching the new L Word.
Yeah.
Which takes place in LA.
I'm glad she's watching
I think.
Mm-hmm.
And a threesome just happened. And Lindsay's just like...
I know exactly where she's
Lindsay's
at.
like, this is such a bad idea. This sucks. Like, there's too many people involved in this. And I was like, you know what? I agree.
There are. It's also a bad idea just in the show because of what's happening with the individual characters. Yeah. It is a bad idea. I don't know. I've never done a threesome IRL.
Oh, me neither.
But I know many people who have.
Gross.
But I don't quite understand what all goes down there. That's okay. I'm okay with being a big baby who doesn't do drugs and doesn't do threesomes. fine for me. Seems like a lot going on there. I think I would be overwhelmed.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's too much.
Nothing against it. Yo, if that's your bag and you can make it work, more power to you.
Yeah, if you can handle it, go off.
Yeah, go off, sis. Okay, now that we're done sex shaming.
No, this scene was wild, though. Like,
there's a lot going on here for just being like a goofy threesome scene. There's a lot happening.
Okay, folks, we see 2 pairs of boobs.
Yes.
We see dong.
Yes. And 2 movies in a row with dong.
We see ball
just had
sack,
Mandy
too?
The boy is straight up jacking off, which he also was in Mandy. So it's wild that we're doing these
it's
2
just
movies
dick
in
movies.
a row. We love a dong shot. And that's like 3 out of 4 for our last movies, right?
Yeah.
Because Gone Girl also had dong.
Oh, man, we're really getting hits. We're doing the kind of movies I want to see. Movies that show dong.
If I know that a movie where I'm suggesting is going to have dong in it, I know Colin's down.
Oh, without a doubt.
Hands down. Yeah.
I'm just always curious in what context.
Yeah. And, like, what's it look like?
Oh, good God.
You never know.
No, this scene was... The guy, like, stops and takes a phone call, and then Julianne Moore and this other girl, like, keep kissing, but Julianne Moore's not into it. It ends with her being like, well, I guess I'm just not a very good dyke, and, like, leaving.
Yeah.
It's...
Well, the girl turns into her mom for a second.
Oh, yeah.
And so she screams and runs outside. And yeah, she says, like, I guess I'm just a bad dyke, which seems like, you know, just whatever she's saying. But we later find out is related to her PTSD because we see her mom say it.
Yeah.
So that then potentially, like, the whole scene was her kind of reenacting her trauma.
Oof.
Because when we see her mom's ghost, she says the line.
Yeah.
And also, her mom mentioned that her stepdad was maybe fucked up too. So maybe it was like fully her stepdad was involved in her childhood trauma. We don't really know.
Yeah. She's all sorts of fucked up with
all sorts of
trauma.
fucked up. And when the guy comes out of the house, he's like, oh, just take a Klonopin and chill or whatever.
Another insane, just like, oh, it's California.
Yes. And like, folks... I don't know if you're familiar with Klonopin, but it's a pretty intense drug. And I only know that because my mom was an addict who took Klonopin and it would so fuck her up.
Yeah.
So it's not just like something chill you can like pop and be better. It's very intense. So the scene is heavy.
Yeah.
So then we meet Carrie Fisher pretty soon after this as well. Who she just has like a small role in this movie, and she plays herself,
just
which
like a
rocks.
cameo, yeah.
She's just Julianne Moore's friend. Julianne Moore, like her character is, she's a washed-up kind of A-list actress, so she knows everyone in Hollywood. She's constantly name-dropping people, or like, oh, I knew the casting director. I knew the director of this film. Oh, I know him personally, or whatever. And she knows Carrie Fisher and keeps asking Carrie Fisher to hook her up with assistants, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So Carrie Fisher does just that and brings in the burn girl, Agatha, from the beginning, who she met online. So she brings in Agatha, who's a burn victim. And Agatha lies about her story at this point, but we don't know it's a lie yet. That she says she locked herself in a closet during an electrical fire when she was 12, and that's why she's burned up, which we later find out is not true. But Julianne Moore, because of her woo-woo LA-ness, thinks of Agatha as like a sign from the universe because she's dealing with her mom who died in a fire. She's dealing with like that death. And then Agatha, who survived a fire, comes into her life. So she's like, oh, this is Kismet. What a little freak.
Yeah.
But honestly, I probably would do the same thing. Am I a woo-woo freak? You know, maybe. I don't know.
To some degree, we all are.
You're less of a woo-woo freak than I am, I would say.
Yes.
But you're open to it.
I'm open to
and that's
woo-woo.
what counts. Being open is the important part,
Yeah.
because who knows? So Agatha is becoming obsessed with Robert Pattinson's character, which, who wouldn't?
Yep.
Let's
I'm
be
like,
honest.
it makes sense.
Also, just side note, I watched some stuff, like some press and stuff that they did, just the two of them together, and they have such a cute, like, friendship. They have really cute chemistry.
Yeah, they're great.
So she's becoming obsessed with him, and she suggests that they write an incest movie together.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this, Inception?
Ding, ding.
Because talking about writing an incest movie during an incest movie.
Yeah.
She just drops that her parents are brother and sister.
Yeah. Way too casually.
Yeah. I'm going to get into this later because it's going to be more apparent, but I struggled with her and the brother character in this movie because I just related a little too hard to them, I think.
Yeah.
And this trauma dropping, unfortunately, a characteristic of mine that I'm working on, but it didn't help for me, didn't help my case of relating to her. So she asks RP on a date, but he's like, sorry, I think you're a little bit of a freak.
Yeah. He enforces boundaries, you know?
Well, that's one way to say it. He also does say that he's seeing someone else, but is that true? That seems like a lie due to what happens later.
Yeah. No, it's a lie, clearly.
It's clearly a lie. So we go back to the boy, young asshole actor. Mm-hmm. He's talking to his therapist when he says that his sister always wanted to marry him and would do like a little marriage ceremony.
Yeah.
He drops the story of when he was 6 or 7, his sister did this marriage ceremony and gave him a bunch of pills that she said were vitamins. And he woke up in the hospital and doesn't really know what happened, but then never saw his sister again.
Normal, yeah.
Also, something I noticed throughout this movie, which seems strange to me, is that a lot of this movie looks like the background is green screen, even when, like, normal stuff is happening.
Yeah.
I don't really know what was going on there, but,
It looked fine to me.
Yeah.
I didn't notice anything.
I just would notice it sometimes.
It was alright.
Why they green screen so much? Maybe because they had a small budget.
I saw something. Where did they film?
They filmed partially in LA. This was actually the first movie that Cronenberg has done that has filmed in America at all.
That's what I remember seeing something
after like a
that.
50-year career. So they filmed a little bit in LA and then a lot in Toronto.
Okay.
They also did have, I guess, a relatively small. Their budget was $13 million. That's like relatively small for like having all these crazy ass actors in there and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, they only box officed $4 million.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Something definitely happened with this movie.
Because we never heard of it with all these people in it.
Yeah.
Something had to go wrong. I don't know. And it was at Cannes and everything.
Yeah, it was nominated for the Palme d'Or.
This should have been a big hit.
At Cannes, Julianne Moore won Best Actress. So, like, it had award. It's won several awards.
I don't know.
Studio was behind it.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
So, Julianne Moore then tells John Cusack about her new assistant, like, oh, it's so funny, it's Kismet because I got a burn girl assistant. And the man turns white.
Yeah.
He's terrified because what's seeming to be pieced together is that this girl is part of that family. She is the sister who drugged the brother. Mm-hmm. She is John Cusack's estranged daughter. So it's kind of seeming like that's where this is going.
Yes.
And also, this poem is being read kind of throughout this movie.
Yeah.
The poem Liberté by Paul Éluard, which is a cool poem. It was written during the French Resistance. It's a very famous poem in French in France. And the way they use it in this movie is really cool because it kind of ties into, like, I don't know, like a desperate love kind of, or like a desperate need sort of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of what they're using it for in this movie.
I mean, you could even say that, like, every one of these main characters just feels, to some degree, they're just sad. They're all lonely and depressed people.
Yeah, and they're just, you know, putting on these fronts and, like, seeking outward validation from people in their careers and lacking things internally.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like any of them are doing anything they particularly enjoy. It doesn't seem that any of them feel that they have any beliefs. They all just feel very, very shallow and vapid and just kind of doing it because other people give a shit about it.
And they're all like walking trauma bombs.
Oh, without a doubt. It reminds me, Kayla and I, when we were chatting before recording, we were talking about, like, being a teenager and being so self-conscious and with low self-esteem and just, like adhering to norms that later on you realize you don't give a shit about. And I feel like that's...
That's right. We have deep combos, okay?
I feel like a big theme of this movie is the, ultimate shallowness of, like, celebrity culture. And
sure.
In Hollywood in general, of just, none of this is actually, meaning anything. We're all just kind of jerking each other off, but for nothing. Like, none of us really believe in this thing. I wrote here at one point, there's a scene, the little brother, Benji, 13-year-old, he's trying to go through 12-step, and it's not because he wants to be sober, because he really doesn't want to be sober. He's doing it to atone, to, like, show penance to the public. I think this movie's positing that celebrities have this fucked up, like, set of rituals and ways to atone, quote-unquote, for their public sins, as if they owe us something. I don't have any, like, sociological or psychological knowledge of what fame does to people, and especially in that, like...
Seems like it ain't good.
No, but it seems very fucked up and just, like, kind of a drug.
Sure, yeah. And you're constantly chasing.
Yeah.
It's so, like, predicated on, like, validation from other people. The whole thing, the whole bit of it. From the casting, which we see in this movie depicted, where, like, Julianne Moore is really trying to get cast, but not, and, like, it's really fucking her up that she's not cast, to, like, you need the validation from the audience.
Yes.
And if you don't have it, then you're nothing.
Without a doubt. I mean, John Cusack is really just extracting validation by validating the, like, desperate celebrities.
And through all this, even him, like, he's worried about his book tour.
Yeah. He still worries about the dumb bullshit that, like, watching this movie, you're just like, you're all wasting your time. The viewer feels, I don't want to say, like, a sense of superiority, but, like, is shown bare how, I keep saying shallow, just how useless it all is.
Y'all are caring so much about something that, like, truly does not matter.
Doesn't matter a bit. Yeah, this movie presents that very well.
It really is, like, a satire on Hollywood and Hollywood people. Because it is, like, in the end, and we're almost getting to the part where it really pops off, but becomes really depraved and fucked up.
Yeah.
Even more so than the beginning, but, like, in a real way.
Without a doubt.
So it can't just be considered pure satire, because there is some fun violence, baby. All right, so Julianne Moore, this whole movie, has been really trying to get the part in a remake of a movie that her mother was in back in the day, and she wants to play the part that her mother played, which may be also partially responsible for why, like, her PTSD is, like, so insane at this moment.
Yeah,
she
sees hallucinations of her mother throughout the movie. Yeah, of course. She's constantly, in interviews, she's being asked about her mother.
Yeah.
It's just constantly exposing herself to her trauma without actually processing it.
Yeah, because she's just doing drugs and alcohol and stuff to push that stuff away.
Cut it out.
Bad. That bad to do.
It is bad to do.
So somebody else got cast in the part, and she's all let down, and that person's kid dies unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And so she ends up getting the part. And I love, like, how, like, depraved it is to show her, like, calling people and being, like, inwardly really excited, but trying to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, how's she doing?
Yeah.
And then, like, but also smiling, like, at the same time. Like,
it's when she's able to
oh, it's what a tragedy.
She's able to, like, show how, like, joyful she is when she sees Agatha, right?
Yeah.
And she, like, dances, and it's just like, I got the part! It's like, dead kid, I got the part!
She sings that song, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye.
That's right! Yeah!
And dances around.
Just, like...
insane.
Really sickening.
And that's, like, part of just, like, how over the top, like, depraved all these characters are.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
She rocks.
She was great. Yeah.
So they go to the studio lot, and Agatha is her assistant now. She's just running wild on these studio lots. Like,
yeah, she gets to go wherever she wants, apparently.
She's romping around everywhere, like, straight up stalking people that she wants to find.
Yeah.
She finds Robert Pattinson. He looks insane.
He says that he's, like, working on a Battlestar Galactica-like show.
And he has like this blonde wig. He just looks so crazy and
dumb.
he's being so serious. It's such a funny moment. And just like another testament to like, he's like an extra in this like really awful, like dumb show.
Yeah.
But he's an actor.
He's an
actor. So she runs into him. Then she finds her little brother and she's just straight up chilling in his trailer watching a film.
Yeah.
It's crazy that she just has this access.
Yeah.
This scene when they are first reunited, her and her little brother.
Benji.
It just, unfortunately, their whole situation, I was just like imprinting me and my brother onto, and I couldn't help it, which I hate. Besides the incest stuff, there's no incest stuff with me and my brother, none at all. Okay, nothing weird. But we have like the same age difference. Each of us kind of look similar. Like, I've had those haircuts when I was in her age.
Sure.
And my brother also has like short curly hair. And our familial roles were also similar, of like when I was part of my family was like the crazy, like unhinged person. And my brother was like the child star.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sounds
it was
like
was very imprinting these characters onto me and my brother, which I didn't love.
Sure. Who wants to think
but
about
could not
that?
help. No. My brother, when he was younger, also used to love energy drinks for whatever that's worth. One time I was babysitting him and his friend when they had a sleepover, and they drank a bunch of energy drinks and locked me in my bedroom.
Oh,
so
that's cool. That's
from the outside.
Yeah, that's actually a very cool boy thing to do. I like that.
For hours, I was pounding on the door trying to get out of my own room. Anyway, my brother's a smart genius now. It's fucked up. So we find out their story here of what happened on that infamous night so many years ago, that she lit the house on fire because she was having hallucinations, and then they sent her to an inpatient hospital in Florida, like a mental institution, which she aged out of, and that's why she's back. They couldn't keep her anymore. So she sees children, and the saying she says out loud to make them go away is, "By this ring you are consecrated to me as my husband." Which is an interesting saying too. Like, how did she stumble upon, like, what was the first time of her finding out that was the line? I don't know. But I would say that it is kind of unclear whether she is actually like full-on schizophrenic or something, or if she's like a medium, because the brother already has been seeing children as well, and continues to, but they are all real children who die. So is he like a medium, or are they just crazy? Unclear, I would say.
Yeah, a little of column A, a little of column B.
That's your new catchphrase.
Oh, that's been my catchphrase for a while.
Oh, yeah?
It has a very specific situation you get to say it in.
I wish that my first name... No, I don't wish that my first name rhymed with anything. It's actually my worst nightmare.
Bela. Layla.
The only words are Layla the song and Gala, which nobody says but means party, so hell yeah.
All right, Gala with Kayla.
I definitely got that one a few times.
I'm sure you did. People
trying to call me gay in school, and they'd be like, haha, Gayla. And I'm like, yeah, that's a party, so you're wrong. Like,
you're not invited.
Your insult is dumb. Unfortunately, I did have a horrendous last name when I was in school, so did catch crap for that one.
That rocks.
Anyway, I'm spilling a little too many beans on this episode. Sorry, not sorry. I already said that was what I have an issue doing.
Go off.
John Cusack pays Agatha $10,000 to go away.
I love it.
They also mention that she's in 12-step. It like comes up, but is never really addressed. They do. They say like she's in 12 steps. It's just like kind of thrown in and tossed away. Never comes up again.
She does not use substances at all throughout the movie. I don't believe.
No, but she is on.
She's on medication.
Prescribed medication.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't really understand the 12-step thing. He says something like, "Oh, you can't outrun the steps" or something like that.
Okay.
The only part I didn't really get. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. So she throws away all her pills at this point. Once she throws away the pills, I think that is kind of the movie's way of saying, like, okay, now this shit is really about to pop off and go off the rails. Like, Curtains open. We're fully unhinged now, folks. Medications out. Crazy in.
Yes.
Thumbs up. I kind of liked how, like, obvious of a metaphor that was in the movie. I don't know. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, this is not a hard movie to comprehend. It's just, I think, easily accessible. And it makes it makes you feel smart. It's just like, oh, are you paying attention? Well, we're going to give you goodies constantly. Yeah.
You're rewarded for paying attention, for sure.
Yeah.
And so she goes on a date with RP, and they F.
Boing.
Aw. He gets the F2 babes in this flick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The next scene with Julianne Moore being constipated from the pain pills.
Yep.
And she's on the toilet just...
I got Julianne Moore farts, and then I drew a smiley face.
Just farting and farting. And, like, that's one thing I love about Julianne Moore is that she is an A-list actress. I mean, she's up there with all the greats, right? Yeah. She's a Meryl Streep. She's a Reese Witherspoon. She's up in all of them. But she is so unafraid to, like, be disgusting and be ugly and be old and be whatever she needs to be.
She rules.
She's so fucking brave and cool and girl boss. Girl boss, but in the good way. Not the corny way.
We missed, I'm just looking at my notes, and it was just a little before, the crazy grocery list.
What happens in the grocery list?
It's just...
Oh, this is like in the same scene, right? When she's on the toilet, she's telling Agatha to go to the store to get a few things.
Okay, I think it's that, and it's just like...
Yeah.
Klonopin, Xanax.
Yeah.
Every, like you mentioned earlier, like mood altering, sedatives, uppers, downers, and she's just... It's like 4 or 5 of these pills, and then just yogi tea. And I died at that, because I'm just picturing someone who's just like... fucking their brain up so much on just like up down, and like no rest, tons of substances, and it's just like, but we need that yogi tea.
Yeah, and like I would say that I also know people who maybe are not to this extent, but who are similar. Like, I'm gonna do all the drugs, get fucked up like every day, but also I'm so, like, working on meditation, and I'm, like, connecting with the earth, and, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, boy, you are so far from connected with the earth, you're fucking flying in outer space right now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, and I think it's so funny.
It rocks.
I would say a couple of the people I know who are the Reiki people who are like, yeah, I'm connecting with people's energies. They're also, like, the most substance-using people I know.
You can't
so
constantly be dissociating.
You can't even connect with your own energy. Like, how are you supposed to connect with other people's energy? That's crazy.
Anyway.
And I love it. I'm here for the unhinged.
It rocks. It's just another layer. It's just a little, like I said, you get goodies if you pay attention.
Yeah, for sure. And I just cannot get over Julianne Moore being the most, like, beautiful, like, A-list woman.
Farting her way through this role. So good.
Because she's constipated from the pain pills.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Then we get the scene where the boy sees the dead girl who had the Hodgkin's lymphoma girl and the dead boy who was the other actor's son who drowned. He sees those two ghosts and decides he's going to do drugs.
Yep.
And he gets GHB from somebody at a party. Ooh. Isn't that the date rape drug?
I don't know.
Yes, it is a date rape drug.
Okay.
That's what I thought. It's not the only one, but it's one. Look, I have said it earlier in the episode. I don't know shit about drugs.
Yeah.
I've never done drugs. But to me, I just happen to know that this is a date rape drug because I've watched too many Veronica Mars episodes. But seems like something you wouldn't just like take to get fucked up on.
No.
But is that just me? I don't know.
No. This shows like how
unhinged and over the top everything is.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, I have a joint. It's like, hey, here's something that you could fall into a coma from if you took it the wrong way.
You could black out and, shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah. Because while on this freaking drug, he holds his friend's gun?
Yeah. Is pointing it all around the room, then is playing like fucking Russian roulette to his own head, which you knew, like, the whole time, like, my heart was beating. I was, like, sweating. I'm like, something bad's gonna happen here, and it's gonna be shocking, and I was sweating.
Yeah.
Just holding the gun to his head, click, holding the gun to his head, click, holding a gun to his friend, click, like. And then to the dog, boom. Dead doggy.
R.I.P. dog.
Woof, if I may say so myself.
Look, I tell you what, I do not like animal deaths in my movies.
No.
But...
this wasn't that graphic, though.
No, this was handled really well.
Oh, you know what else?
What?
Fucking Devil All the Time?
Yeah?
Dead dog.
Did not like that dead dog.
But, just another connection.
Oh, yeah.
How strange.
Same movies.
It's weird how much similar they have going on.
It really is.
So then the daughter, Agatha, finally shows up and sees her mom for the first time, is reunited with her mom for the first time.
Yeah.
And is popping off, calling back to earlier when she mentioned that her parents were brother and sister. That she says stuff like she wondered why she always had visions of marrying her brother, and then found like their journals, and it all made sense because she found out that her parents, John Cusack and the woman from Sixth Sense, were brother and sister. And they got married and had 2 kids. Effed up.
Very effed up.
And John Cusack comes home and beats the fuck out of her.
Yeah. He goes from 0 to 90 in a second. I mean, like, at first, he's just, like, pissed off at seeing her. And then when he finds out what she's accusing, he's terrifying. And he's, like, a kind of a wiener character. Not that intimidating, but it's, it's scary.
He's thinking about his book tour and how it's going to get fucked up by her accusations. Yeah, just beats the fuck out of her. But in the jumble, she has stolen her mother's wedding ring. They come up again here in a minute, but we cut back to the boy. The boy has had a bit through the whole movie where he's doing this movie with a younger kid, and the younger kid says... well, I don't remember exactly what the line is. I didn't write it down, but something like, "What's a vagina?" Yeah. And so he just calls him like a vagina motherfucker or whatever for like the whole movie. Hilarious. He's like, this little vagina motherfucker is outshining me. It's so funny.
Really funny.
But they go to the bathroom together, and over the little vagina kid's head, he sees the dead girl saying, "Love is stronger than death," which is what the sister just said when she was with the parents. "I want to love stronger than death." He chokes the little girl, which turns out to actually be the little boy, and he fucking murders this little boy.
I mean, he doesn't kill him, but he
I think he kills him, doesn't he?
No, they say he'll be okay at some point. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I thought he killed him.
I mean, the kid goes to sleep.
Either way, he's lights out and it's fucked up.
Yeah, very fucked up. That's all. That's a point was made. Yeah.
And then the mean boy is put into a mental institution.
Yeah.
And he ends up giving the orderly $10,000 to let him leave the hospital. $10,000 seems to be the running price.
Drop in the bucket.
When the mom goes to visit him in the hospital, she says, like, now the whole world will know that we've done crimes. Like, her and the dad are talking about.
Yeah.
What crimes have they done? Just the incest?
Does it matter?
No, but I think it's funny.
No.
I think the verbiage is funny.
I wrote that down too.
And he's just worried about his book tour doing bad.
Again, like, this movie's not subtle. It really just, not a subtle satire. It's very fucking blatant what they're pointing out.
Yeah.
They don't love each other. They're not actually, like, caring for one another as people or anything. They're out for themselves. They're just seeing how they can get ahead. All they care about is their fucking image. And like, that's all she cares about. They'll know we've done crimes.
No matter that my son is, like, in rehab and in a hospital for, like, maybe murdering or at least attacking another small boy.
Yeah.
My daughter is, like, on the loose being crazy. No matter for those things. I'm worried that the world will know we've done crimes.
Yeah. It's a really good, like, punctuated note near the end.
Yeah, and we are nearing the end. So Julianne Moore requests Robert Pattinson's chauffeur services.
Mm-hmm.
And in the car, he says that he's trying to write a script about having sex with Agatha because of her, like, disfigurement.
Yeah.
Which is another, like, fucked up
Hollywood
thing. Just using people to get something.
Totally sick.
And Julianne Moore is being super horny in the backseat.
Whoa, what?
And turns out they gotta stop and F in the driveway in the car. And apparently shooting this was like 100 degrees outside. And Robert Pattinson like had a meltdown.
Poor baby.
because he got too hot and sweaty. And he's like, oh, I'm just sweating like huge drops onto Julianne Moore's back. And she's not sweating at all because she's a queen. And he had a meltdown. Aw. He was in another Cronenberg movie right before this too.
Yeah, Cosmopolis.
And he also had sex in the back of a limo in that movie.
Very cool, very cool. My man stays blinking.
He's typecast as a man who has sex in cars. And of course, Agatha sees the betrayal. So once Julianne Moore goes in the house, she roasts Agatha for not showing up for 2 days and is just popping off on Agatha. She smells, she's dirty, she got her period on the couch. Ooh. Okay, period representation. Love to see it. And so Agatha has to just lose it and kills her with an award, which is Cronenberg's actual Genie Award, a film award given in Canada. And he has 5 of them in his personal collection. And it's his actual award that she kills Julianne Moore with.
Yeah, it's funny. And then the scene goes on. Like, she hits her in the head, 7 times.
Yeah. And
there's just more blood each time. The tone shifting of the movie baffled me at that point because I didn't know how to react. And you know what? I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's just truly becoming so unhinged because, the boy kills the kid or whatever is the kid. Mm-hmm. Agatha comes home and kills her. And then when John Cusack goes home, his wife is on fire, possibly killing herself, or...
We are given no explanation for the fire, huh?
None at all. And then he pushes her into the pool where she presumably dies.
Yep.
And then when the kid goes home to get his dad's ring, John Cusack is catatonic.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could be dead. I read that he was catatonic, but who knows? It's up for interpretation. Takes his ring off, and then the brother and sister lay down together, take the pills, wear the rings, and it's so oh, I had 13 summers. That's not too bad.
Yeah, he's all right, here's what it is.
And they kiss, and they die together. By this ring, you're consecrated to be my husband. And, liberty.
Yeah.
They really wove that poem in and out of this movie and made it apply to many of the characters. I think it originally comes in the movie as Julianne Moore's mother's reading it in the original movie.
Oh, yeah.
Truly goes in and out of this movie, and I think that... I already said it, but it can't be understated that I think the screenwriting is genius on this film. I think it's so good.
Yeah, it's really incredible. I agree.
And that's roll creds.
That's a tight 140.
Yeah. Almost as long as this episode so far. Ooh, but we're smart. Are we fun? I think we are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just as fun as watching the movie. Oh, boy. Okay, so did we miss anything, or should we go right into rating this out of 5?
That's all I got.
So what do you rate this out of 5?
This morning, just watching it, I give it a 3.5. But talking about it, baby, it bumps up to a 4. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think exactly the same.
Twins.
Oh, we're back on our twin vibe. Yep. Twins are back on our bullshit, baby. I am dancing. You can't see, but just imagine it. So yeah, twin 4s. I would say I felt that the cinematography was lacking a bit. Sure. This movie didn't really look cool. And like I said, a lot of it seemed like it was green screened randomly, which I didn't really understand. But everything else about it was A+ number 5.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And I want to watch it again.
Oh, yeah?
I'm excited to want to watch it again. Yeah, because I just think I'm going to pick up more stuff. I was just watching a YouTube video, just a clip before recording, and Julianne Moore comes out of a store and is just "Ugh, I can't believe I just spent $13,000.
Yeah.
Anyway, are we going now?
Yeah, I remember that line.
I didn't notice that first time around, but there's these little twinkles all through it, and I feel like I'll just keep picking up more and more watching it again.
Totally.
And I'll get to hear Robert Pattinson be possibly from Brooklyn, possibly from...
Just bouncing around
Utah,
America.
Possibly. I'll tell you, weirdly, I think that he was one of the lesser shining people in this movie. Like,
yeah?
It could have, I feel like his character could have been someone else and it wouldn't have mattered that much.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
As much as we love RP and we do stand.
We love you.
And we have stand the choices he made in this film.
Oh, yeah. Have and will.
Yeah, I do feel like he could have been replaceable with anyone. Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
The only scene where it wouldn't have been as funny with a different person was when he was in the blonde wig, because that's just so funny. All right, so solid 4s, baby,
yeah.
and yes, we recommend.
Yeah, definitely watch this stuff.
And this is on Netflix, so this is an easy one.
Now it's time for ScreenVomit.
All right, what the freak have you been watching?
Oh, finally. Okay. I can say what I've been wanting to say all GD movie. Or ep. I recently watched Mulholland Drive for the first time.
Okay.
And Maps to the Stars has big Mulholland Drive energy.
Okay.
In the set in LA, it shows like LA's depravity, you know, how it chews people up, spits them out, vignettes of people at varying points in their, you know, Hollywood career. The only difference is, I think Mulholland Drive is better. Mulholland Drive rocks.
Oh.
Big Def Watch.
Okay.
I went in, and I am not a Twin Peaks fan. And I, honest to God, fucking hate the David Lynch discourse. And so I went in like, okay.
Do you like any other David Lynch stuff besides Twin Peaks?
Not seen anything else.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, you know what? Sure, I'll watch it. And I'm always opened to being owned. And I was owned. David Lynch is a great director, because Mulholland Drive fucking rules. Very, very good. Then we watched Devil, M. Night Shyamalan's.
Never heard of it.
Don't watch it. It's boring. It's fine. I don't even know why I wrote it down. Oh, that's... The other night, Lindsay made us watch New Moon.
So you're gonna watch the rest of the Twilight, and you didn't even invite me?
I'm not watching the rest now.
I think I remember the second one being my least favorite,
I think. It sucks so much. I've done it. I did the thing where I make fun of something so much ironically that I say like, oh, Twilight, I love Twilight so much that like when I do watch Twilight, I'm like, haha, this is bad, but it's bearable. But now it's gone, the parody has gone too far. Fuck this. I hate the goddamn Twilight movies now. Fuck them.
Did Edward come back, or is he just gone for that whole
He comes
movie?
back, and it sucks.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was the next movie he comes back or not.
But my silver lining to the end of the movie, that after like 2 hours of bullshit that I didn't care about, and some god-awful acting from all parties involved, I realized the money that K-Stu and Arpat made off these terrible pieces of shit definitely gave them the financial security they needed to be able to do whatever crazy bullshit roles they enjoy doing.
Hell yeah.
And
they're a blessing to Earth.
They are. And you know what? We have to thank the Twilight movies for that.
I just watched an interview with RP earlier where somebody was asking him like, oh, do you think like you'll do more mainstream stuff like Twilight, or will you keep doing like these weird crazy films that you keep picking? And he was like, honestly, I think Twilight's a lot more unhinged than any of the other films I've done.
Yes, I can honest to God, that's unhinged because it doesn't make any fucking sense, and it's bad. It's bad. He
was like, they wrote this really specific story about a very specific thing happening and made it stretch on for 5 movies. That's the insane thing.
I can't watch them. I'm not watching any more of them. I'm putting my fucking foot down. Like, I was sad into the next day until I watched another movie. I was like, oh my God.
The second one's the worst, though. It gets better after that.
I never feel like I waste my time, because, hey, every second is a blessing from God. But, that was a wasted 2 hours.
You heard it here,
Fuck
folks.
New Moon. Anyway, what have you been watching?
Oh, I love when Kali gets to pop off. Okay, so I've watched 2 things.
Okay.
First of all, I finished Insecure.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I love the final season that's up now, because it is, I think, still an ongoing show. The final season was the most emotionally evolved season yet.
Yeah.
Thought they really did some cool stuff with the relationships in that season. I didn't always love what was going on with the romantic relationships, but the friendships were really good. And they set up some cool stuff for the next season.
Hell yeah.
That I think will be interesting to see how they tackle that. So, Insecure, thumbs up. Good, decent show. I wouldn't say it's incredible. It's a fine, good show.
Yeah.
And we love Issa. Already been said.
Yep.
Then I did watch something unhinged.
Okay.
And what I've learned is that whenever gay Twitter starts popping off about something simultaneously, don't watch it. It's going to be bad. It's going to be the worst stuff you've ever seen.
Are you generalizing that queer folk who use Twitter have bad film opinions?
No, not queer folk who use Twitter. Gay Twitter. It's a specific thing.
Okay.
And I think we'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So, gay Twitter started popping off about Emily in Paris. I think it's supposed to be said Emily in Paris. Okay, there's your first clue.
Ugh, shut up. It's Paris.
And I was just wanting like a kind of bubblegum show anyway, so I wasn't offended that the premise is so thin, but it is like the worst show I've ever seen. The premise is it's so thin, and they really bring it up every single episode, that the main drama is this girl from Chicago who is a marketing executive moves to Paris, and guess what? She doesn't know the language.
Holy shit.
What a crazy choice. She starts an Instagram and becomes an influencer on accident. Just by hashtagging Emily in Paris, suddenly she has 20,000 followers. And she has, I would say, not a personality trait to be found. Not one interest or personality trait at all. She does say that she has an interest in fashion. The fashion is fucking unhinged. She's like wearing like a felt bucket hat at one point. Like her fashion's absolutely unhinged. It does not make sense. She does have a master's degree, but everyone treats her like she's a dumb baby, and she acts like a dumb baby. So like, what's the deal there?
Like a hot dumb baby.
She is very attractive.
Okay.
She also loves being sexually assaulted and having her boundaries violated by literally every man she meets, which is fucking insane. Why do people... I've just bumped my mic because I got so upset. Why do people like watching this? Every man she meets, she'll be like, we just have a business relationship. There's nothing weird here. And then they like cross boundaries and like kiss her. And she like does a little smile and like a tee-hee, and now she loves them. Like constantly. Every single man that she meets in this story, in this show, because, all right, fucking judge me, but I did watch the entire season.
You always do.
I'm a completist, if
you
nothing
really
else.
Are.
Every single man she encounters is attracted to her and like tries to fuck her, tries to kiss her, tries to date her, whatever. Literally every single man she meets, even when she verbally expresses that she's not interested in them, does not want to pursue anything with them, they will pursue her and cross boundaries with her, and then she loves it.
She'll relent.
She's never bothered. She doesn't ever express that she's uncomfortable with what's happening, even though I, the viewer, am uncomfortable. I can see this man with that creep-ass smile on doing fucked up shit to this young girl. She loves it. It's just like when we watch Devil All the Time. When the young girl gets assaulted and she comes out and is like, I love the man. Instead of being like, I'm upset and now I have issues.
Yeah.
She loves the man. It doesn't make sense. It's not realistic. And I think that it's actually harmful messaging to not only young women, but also men who already think that they can just do this. It's harmful. And I would say, don't watch Emily in Paris. Don't.
You know?
What?
Lindsay had the same analysis of New Moon. That it is literally harmful for young girls to watch a story about a young girl doing anything to get attention from these men who treat her terribly.
The Twilight series is extremely harmful in that sense.
It's really just like, we're not for banning books, but we should ban those books. They're not good for the audience.
Yeah, but if you're older, you can laugh at it or whatever. But yeah, I think the messaging is harmful. And guess what? Emily in Paris already greenlit for a second season. Second season is coming, unfortunately.
Bum, bum, bum. You gonna watch it?
Don't watch the show. I don't know. Maybe.
You're as unhinged as the freaking...
I am unhinged.
You're unhinged
right,
now.
Look. In this time, in this world, can we all just lose a hinge or two?
Yeah. Hey.
I can't be faulted for my choices in this moment in history.
No, you can't. We're all the Joker to some extent.
But I'm on the good side of this. Like, I recognize that this show is fucked up, and I worry for people who watch it and don't acknowledge the fucked upness of it.
No, totally.
That's what worries me, you know?
Yeah.
It was actually uncomfortable to watch because there were a lot of creepy men. And she says, like, oh, haha, I just thought he was being French in the show.
Jesus.
No, it's fucked up. I had to pop off. So sorry.
Hey, it's the popping off kind of night.
It is. Boy, we've been popping off from T to B.
Ding, ding.
We're here. We've shown up today somehow.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. All right. That's that.
That's another perfect episode.
Is it time for plugs already? Yeah. All right, babies. So that's the end of the episode here. We would need to plug our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Letterboxd. We're everywhere you can find online at ScreenVomit, one word on all the things. Subscribe on your podcast app if you haven't already. We're also on Spotify and on YouTube. So give us a subscribe on one thing or all the things. Go crazy.
Yeah, go clicky clicky.
Click, click, click. Okay, you have the internet. You know where it's at. And then while you're there, leave us a freaking rating and review.
Yeah.
Because that would just be very nice.
Give us 5 stars. Give us 1 stars.
Give us a 5 stars. I would say if you're going to do less than 3, don't bother. People will never find us online again.
Oh my God.
We would be shamed. You can also send us an email at screenvomitpod@gmail.com or tweet us with your thoughts on this movie or other movies. Did we miss something? Do you got a question? Whatever. Send us a DM. Maybe that could go south. Don't go south with your DMs. Check out Kali's other podcast, How to Fire Your Boss, also on all the things, where he gets to be a smart boy. And then also next week, we will be watching Black Swan. Okay, get ready for this one. That should be interesting. I've never seen. So watch the film, hit the up, and we'll see you next time, babies. Bye-bye.
Bye.